Next, we have YData. YData is an OG synthetic data company based out of Seattle. They have been building innovative data solutions since 2019, and now they have a privacy-preserving data solution for RAG. And today we will be hearing from Fabiana Clemente, who is the CPO at YData, on their new developments.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Megan, for the introduction. I'll be sharing my screen now. Okay. Okay. Okay, awesome. So, hi, everyone. Just as Megan introduced, I'll be showcasing privacy-preserving augmented RAG approach with an approach using synthetic data as a vehicle for privacy-preserving in the realm of LLMs. My background is in applied mathematics and data science. I've been a data architect for from startups to big enterprises, and I'm definitely a data geek. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Happy to know your endeavors along Gen AI and LLMs. I'm passionate about generative models since quite some time. So, as you can imagine, synthetic data does not exist without you touching upon generative models. And that's why I'm bringing you this topic today. Why privacy preserving? Why does it matter in the realm of LLMs? Well, truth to be told, uh, there are compliance and privacy hurdles in order to adopt a generative model inside an organization, either because you are dealing with sensitive information, for example, you have information and you have data among your text or even images that you don't want the models or the gen models to inadvertently memorize it. Also, on a different topic, it's very hard for you to scale anonymization in a way that you can handle the volumes of data that your organization have, right? So how can you ensure that you have everything really well anonymized, especially if you are dealing with a full database of knowledge management, right? So it's very hard to scale the anonymization techniques. It's very hard to ensure that every single data that you have inside the organization is privacy preserving or is anonymized in a way that is ready to be used for training or even just a RAG approach for an LLM. So all of that done manually is definitely very hard. And last but not the least, you also still have, and even though it seems like they are here for quite some time, there are still struggles around compliance with regulations like GDPR, CCPA, or even EPA, right? So it's very complex to define what is personal data, what is PII. It does depend on the context of your business. It does depend with whom you are sharing your data or how you are using your data. And all of this are the main issues around using proprietary data to train, for example, a generative model. And well, something that I like to say, don't tell anything that you want to keep private to an LLM. And well, here are just three different very public cases of how and where that happened, right? So you see that in Wired last year, it was mentioned that OpenAI GPT was just leaking secrets of private data that was fed into the chatbots. 11% of data employees paste data into ChatGPT, and that data should be confidential. So that's another risk. But of course, that's also a human risk, and about that, it's hard to do something just with technology. And last but not the least, we had the case of Samsung that definitely fed sensitive data to ChatGPT, and that data was inadvertently leaked to public eyes. So those are some things that you should have in mind. So you might think, no, it's my internal data, I'll be using this just internally, there won't be a risk. There's always a risk. So having that in mind, this is the one of the things that especially now with Gen AI, this is more true than ever. So even though you think your model might be your product, might be the thing that you want to put into place, so you want to deploy your generative model, your LLM, or um, any other type of generative solution, and you think that is your product, it is not. In reality, your data is your product. Whatever you have internally, how is your proprietary data shaped, the information that your proprietary have, the value that that data has, along with the privacy risks, it's in reality the product that you should be worried about building. And that's and that is a reality that we also observe with a lot of the news that are coming out, right? So data scarcity is definitely a reality, and that's why your data is actually the most important thing. How you collect your data, what data are you collecting, how you are processing it, because after all, and this is something that we probably never thought about before, we are facing a potential data drought. And well, especially since big data, we thought that we were producing more data than ever, we were collecting more data than ever. But the truth is, these models are data savvy, which means that they very quickly build up on all the data that you have. They will need all the data that you have available to train, and they will need variability. They will need variance on your data. And that's why um, this is something that we were never expecting to have. And for that reason, if it's even more important for you to start building the technologies that you need in order to improve the quality of your data, improve the available data, and have the right variance to train these models. And again, if public information is scarce, proprietary data is the only data sources now available and unseen by this model. So there's something to have in consideration, and that's why adopting a more privacy preserving approach is so important. And well, uh, definitely data quality scales better than any data size. So training on small, highly curated, with high variability, with good representativity, it's a way to better scale your training, your RAG approaches, than just feeding a lot of data into them. This is not something that we are saying. This is Google's sentence of how important can be synthetic data for the future of training generative models. So these data sets that are highly curated can be easily built through synthetic data. Um, and besides ensuring privacy preserving, they also ensure the data quality that you will need in order to have a best performant model. And well, so although I have touched upon a bit on this, the fact is, why go synthetic for LLM? So of course you have the liability and legal issues that you are dodging with the use of let's call it synthetic data as a way of fake data or data that is not real. Then you have as well the opportunity to fill in the gaps of potential missing data or missing behaviors. You can also synthetic data is also a tool for you to control potential biases. And last but not the least, it comes with the effectiveness, right? So it's easily available if you are using the right methods for synthetic data generation, and it's way cheaper and easier to collect it compared to real world data, especially given that public data uh, is no longer so was already seen by these models, right? So you are dealing with data scarcity anyways. So very quickly, I just want to showcase you what is the solution that YData is proposing here to and how we are generating synthetic data. I'll be showcasing a very small demo. We do have the full demo available on YouTube. I'll make sure that I'll link that video for you, but let me quickly share my screen here. So as you can see, this is our flagship product. So this is YData Fabric. In here, I'm just showcasing two very simple pipelines and data workflows where we have used the approach of generating privacy preserving synthetic data. So in here, the step or the pipeline is very simple and has just two steps. The first one where we read the text or we read the corpus, and you see this is just a, a some abstracts of medical publications, and as you can see, the type of language used is very formal and very scientific with very complex terms. And that's important for what I'm going to show next. We want to make sure that our synthetic data still captures exactly this formal language and formal way of describing the different very technical terms that are used, but we want to make sure that any names, anything that might be specific or might be more sensitive is kept out of the newly generated data. Also, our objective is to generate more data so we can feed highly curated data, but that has more variability when it comes to the type of sentences and corpus construction that we are observing. Of course, here is just simple statistics and simple metrics around the text itself. And in this step, the next step, I'm going to generate some synthetic data. What you see here in the first block is definitely the generated data. And one thing that is important for you to assess here is that definitely you can still see very technical terms that are used. You can see still read the abstracts. They do make sense and they still are valid abstracts. But in case there are dates or anything that is more privacy preserving, like for example, information that you don't want the model to see, they were kept out and they are not generated. Very quickly, another example, very different, might be Amazon reviews. So in this case, as you can see, um, the the type of language is completely different, is way more unstructured with less technical terms, way less formal. So you might see some slang in some of the records as well, and you want to make sure that your synthetic data still keeps that. Furthermore, you might just want to augment certain type of reviews, right? So for example, you might just want to augment the negative reviews because they are way less represented than the positive reviews, for example. That's what you can build with the synthetic data. Here I'm showing you just a very short synthetic data generated, and as you can see here, you see that date time were removed just because you might be able to re-identify someone based on the dates that they mention. If there are names, they are also kept out, among other types of structure of sentences that might be considered privacy preserving. Furthermore, you see that the language of the synthetic data is still keeps a very natural and more chill out kind of sentences, and that's what we wanted to achieve. So it's not only a way for you to ensure privacy preserving reg approaches or training LLMs, but it's also a way for you to augment the diversity and variability of your data, or even to control bias that was observed on your real data. As I mentioned, you can see this full demo with time. It's available online. I'll make sure to link that for you. I know this was a pretty fast, but if you want to test for yourself, we have here the QR code for you. You can register at ydata.ai/register, and I hope to see you there. And if there are any questions, just let me know.
Thank you for that demo, Fabiana.